So right now it is. Hold on a second. Right now it's Friday, August 14th, 2020. It's 2:39 a.m. Yet another day of weird feelings. So I stayed up all night the night before last, and then I slept most of the day yesterday, but I still felt tired. And now I'm at that point of sleep deprivation where I'm just really annoyed with everything. I don't know. I was really irritable all day yesterday, and I'm still kind of irritable right now. Just really fucking tired. I want to go to bed, but I can't. I tried falling asleep a dozen times, but I just can't. And now I'm sitting here thinking about a bunch of random shit, and I felt like I needed to get shit, recorded, obviously. I had planned on talking about brownies in this, but as usual, I don't really know. I don't plan these things out, and I lose my train of focus really easily, so I don't know how well this is going to go. But I originally planned to talk about brownies in this journal, and I originally. Sorry, I keep looking at my computer and getting distracted. I originally planned on talking about brownies, but I get distracted easily, as you just saw or heard. I need to get some sleep. Me and Kara made a lot of progress. I think it was the day before yesterday. It was a day ago, I think. I don't know. But I wrote this journal a day or two ago, and I think it'll tie. Well, actually, it will tie into brownies. Actually, but I wrote this journal, and I titled it "Douchebag." And I wrote this journal because I was having a really weird night, and I needed to get something off my chest. So I'm gonna read that out right now because I think it'll tie into brownies, or at least it'll get me back on track. So I'm gonna read this real quick. Okay, so and this was posted a day ago. Yeah. So I'm discussing a story with a friend of mine right now. She has a story she created, and she basically recruited me as her co-writer. And so, here just a little while ago, she and I were discussing an aspect of the lore, and as I was typing my input/opinion of something she brought up, I started feeling like a total douche, a completely pompous jerk. I thought this because I was basically delegitimizing what she had said. And even if I disagree with it, I feel mean for disagreeing. Is that weird? I feel like I have no right, sometimes, to express my opinions of certain things, and at this point, I'm not even just talking about this story that I'm co-writing for. I'm talking about a lot of things. I have this horrible sense of self-worth about me. I don't think I matter, and that nothing I say matters, no matter what the context is. I feel like most of my ideas are terrible, and that I have no right to discuss anything with anyone, because I feel as if though I never fully understand what I'm talking about. I don't think I can express my thoughts and ideas in such a way that tells people that I'm not being mean. To be frank, I think I come off as a total asshole all the time, no matter what I'm talking about. That's one of the reasons I'm so afraid of discussing things like, let's say anime lore, for example. If I were to attempt to discuss why I think something in the story doesn't make sense, I always have this fear in the back of my head that I'm not making sense and that I have no room to speak about the topic at hand. Even if, at first, I was confident that what I was saying was logically sound, I end up questioning myself the moment I express it to someone else, even if they outwardly agree with whatever it is I said. Another one of my fears is that I'm coming off as self-important, when that's never my intention at all. All I try to do is give my input and perspective on something, and while I'm aware that that's a normal aspect of conversation, I still feel wrong for doing it. Know what I mean? Basically, I feel super bad right now. I feel like a prick. I feel just mean, even though I may not have a reason to be, but I can't figure out if I actually do or not. As always, my emotions are confusing me a lot. So that was a journal that I wrote while me and Kara were talking about brownies, and we were talking about the elements of harmony and stuff, and she brought up things that I disagreed with. or things that I just thought didn't make any sense. And while we were talking, I felt just like a total prick. I genuinely did feel like a total prick. And I had to write that journal because I had to get it out. I had to get it out. So, we had been talking about brownies. I mean, by the time I wrote this journal, we had already been talking about brownies for like a good 2 hours, maybe. And we had already made a good deal of progress, a great deal of progress, actually. But after this wave of feeling like a piece of shit passed, we ended up talking about brownies for like another 5 hours. I don't know. That night in total, we talked about brownies for like 6 or 7 hours straight, like almost nonstop, and it was amazing. For some reason, the magical hours of talking about brownies are between like 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. I think between 1 and 5 in the morning is like the best time to talk about brownies because for some reason that's the only time we make like huge chunks of progress. And it was cool. It was a really long, amazing conversation. We discussed a lot of things. We worked out a lot more kinks. I think I don't remember which rants and rambles it was that I uploaded, but in one of them I talked about how we worked out the timelines of two characters at that time. Uh, and in the conversation we had, like, the day before yesterday, we worked out two more characters' timelines. So we've just been making exclusive progress, and it actually feels really fucking good. I cannot properly express the excitement that I feel about the stories that are to come. Because, I mean, here's something that I'm trying not to do. I'm trying not to listen to the Brownies narrations that are already up all the time so that I don't get burnt out on it. Because I have a bad habit of, like, I don't I don't know if I have a right to use this term, but I think it's called like hyperfixation. I will fixate on something for like a month. And then after that month of fixating on something is over, I'll just be burnt out on it and I won't want anything to do with it for a while. I'm trying not to do that with brownies right now, and I can't imagine what Cora's going through because she has to work on the fucking thing, you know? It's probably harder for her. But we discussed about it for like a good 6 or 7 hours straight one morning, and we worked out so much about the lore, so much about the characters. It's going to be amazing, I think. So, with most of the brownie stuff out of the way, I guess I should probably get out how I feel, like, emotionally at the moment. Emotionally, I feel kinda meh. I don't know. I just feel okay-ish, I guess. I don't feel bad, but I don't feel good. I don't know. I'm not in a shitty mood, though, which is weird. I mean, I say it's weird. That sounds edgy as fuck, but most of the time, I don't really. Most of the time, I can't say I feel good. Because I'm mostly just neutral or content, I guess, at best. Right now, I'm in one of those kind of midway points. A big emotional gray area. Physically, I took a shower, and it felt good. I scrubbed the flakes off my fucking scalp because I had been slacking on the personal hygiene for a few days. So that was fun. I was gonna brush my teeth, but I forgot because I got to watching a Varg Skeletor stream. I've been binging his shit forever, dude. I love him. He's the best. Now I'm having one of those moments where I came into this journal wanting to talk about something. I came in here wanting to talk about one thing, and now that I have successfully talked about that one thing, I now do not know what the fuck to do. Great. This is making the thumbnail I drew even more funny, because before I even started recording, I decided that I would draw a thumbnail for my next Rants and Rambles, and the way this journal is going right now, this thumbnail that I preemptively drew is really fucking accurate to what's going on in this one. One of the problems that I'm having is that, for some reason, in my journals, I try to have an ongoing stream of thoughts for as long as I can. Like, I try to keep going without pausing the recording for as long as I can. I don't like pausing and leaving to think for a minute and then resuming the recording again, because maybe it's super disjointed. I also, the quality of the audio is a big deal, because I have to use my phone to record it, and it does this thing where it tries to automatically level the audio. So whenever I stop talking, it feeds in the background noise. And then when I start talking, it tries to weed out the background noise, and it just sounds really fucking weird. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. This is a big mess, but I felt like a mess for like the last 3 days. I'm in a really fucky place at the moment. Emotionally, dude. Really, I do. Okay, I actually had to pause it there for a second to, get weed out a couple of bad thoughts that were piling up. Um, Something that I have vented about a lot that I still have not really gotten over is, and I think I mentioned this before in one of my rambles, it's this feeling of sitting on my hands and waiting to work on something again. You know what I mean? It's like in Brownies, we can discuss the lore and the characters and shit all day long. We can talk about that shit as long as we want, but ultimately, there's not a whole lot I can do as a co-writer until she has released more stories and narrations, right? So far, let's see. So far, there's two different versions of the Brownies narration. There was one that was the original, and then there was the second one, which was a redux at the time. When really all that was just upping the quality of like the audio and shit. And then there's Dollface's Legacy. Wait a minute. No, there was two versions of the Brownies narration. Then there was a narration just called Zara, and then there's Dollface's Legacy, I think, from memory. So that's three narrations, and Kara released Zara's Turn, aka the Torture Chamber, a few months ago. So the story is still in its baby stages. Actually, Kara is planning on rewriting the first Brownie story, I think. She planned to rewrite Zara's confrontation with Celestia, and she's planning to obviously she's planning to narrate that as well, which is so fucking cool. The dedication to have to redo all of that from the ground up, man. I can't imagine. I could not imagine having the drive to do that. I just couldn't. It's amazing, and I respect that wholeheartedly. But yeah, there's just so little that's been done already, and there's so much that has to be done from this point. And there's a part of me that really wants to keep writing for the series, but it's not my series, first of all. Second of all, there's not a whole lot that I can actually write. Because I'm gonna pause this real quick. Hold on a second. Okay, so as I was saying, I have written a couple stories. I wrote, actually most of what I wrote. Okay, so I wrote four full stories for Brownies. Three of those are side stories, and one of them is a main story, okay? So, in order from first to last, the stories are Brownie's side story, A New Friend, Brownie's side story, Let It Blaze, Brownie's side story, Rose's First Batch, and then there's the one main story that's called Of Demons and Rose Petals. And, I've written those four whole stories for the series, but I feel just so inclined to write more for it, you know? And I'm just like, every time I think about the series, it just makes me psyched to write more, you know? And I don't talk about it a lot, but in like DMs, me and Kara talk to each other on Discord, and we have talked extensively so many fucking times about Brownies and its lore and stuff, and I've written out fun, theoretical dialogue and stuff like that. And every time I think about it, it makes me want to keep doing more, and I know that I can't do more. Honestly, aside from writing Rose's dialogue in future Brownie stories, I won't really be writing anything else. Like these four stories here that I mentioned a minute ago, I think that's all I was really meant to do, to be honest. Um, the likelihood that I will ever have to write a whole story for the series again is extremely unlikely, and it's probably not going to happen because, of course, it's not my series, it's not my stuff. The only real reason I even wrote those four stories was because they were centered around my character and her involvement in Brownies. Of Demons and Rose Petals is still in the works. I'd say it's about, if I had to break it down to a percentage to a number, I would say it's around 65, anywhere between 65 and 79% complete. Um, of course, I mentioned this before, Of Demons and Rose Petals cannot continue until Kara is ready to work on it with me. So yeah, I've just been kind of, that feeling of sitting on my hands and waiting before I can do anything else. It's just like, ugh, it drives my anxiety crazy. It makes me feel, I gotta do something right now. And I've been feeling that for like the last 6 months. Actually, scratch that. I've been feeling that since the beginning of the year because I've been doing. Actually, hang on a fucking second. This might have been going on longer than I thought. Hold on a second. I have a folder on my desktop called Brownies Fic. It's where I put all of my drafts and, like, the skeletons of stories, so to speak. Let me see here. A new friend. Dude, actually, I've been working on stuff for Brownies since December of last year. So I've been working on this shit since before the start of the year. So yeah, I guess technically I've been feeling this feeling of sitting on my hands and like wanting to write for like many months now at this point. God damn, I didn't realize it had been since December 2019. I didn't know that. I thought it started after 2020 started, to be honest with you, like January or February or something. That's surprising. Okay, well, anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought actually. But writing for Brownies, for some reason, is one of the most entertaining things I have done in a long fucking time. Just something about the characters, just working with Kara is just a fucking joy to do. She's such a cool person to work with, I think. And and Brownie is just so much fun. It's a fun series, and just involvement of things is just, oh my god, it's so amazing. Oh my god. Okay, so um I got to looking through things again on my computer. I apologize. I keep getting distracted. But anyway, point of this journal was to update. We made Kara and I guess to basically summarize what this journal was about. It was basically just to update that Kara and I have made even more significant progress with Brownies, and we made even more significant progress with more characters, right? We're pulling all of the characters' individual timelines together now. And all that needs to be done is for the actual stories to be written by this point, basically. We have as I said earlier, the skeletons of a bunch of stories, shit like that. Stuff's happening. Stuff's happening. At this point in 2020, really all I can ask for is for shit to happen, for things to move forward, and that's all I really need right now. I'd actually be willing to bet that a lot of people feel the same way, to be honest. But yeah, this was basically just to express that more developments have happened with Brownies. Things are going smoothly for the time being. I think Me and Carl were going to talk about something else soon. I don't know, but um, progress is being made. Things are looking up in general. So I just wanted to make this journal to kind of look back on later, see how much progress is being made, shit like that. Um, I'm probably going to make a personal journal because I'm planning on uploading this journal just cause. But I'm planning on making another personal journal immediately after this one where I talk about spoiler stuff for myself and I'll upload it as probably an unlisted video. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of stealing Kara's channel updates almost, like Brownies updates. I don't know. I'll talk to her about it. But yeah, I just wanted to make this as an like kind of a it's mostly a Brownies update on my part. Spoiler free, of course. All right. This is ridiculous. I can't wait to fucking upload this so it can be done.